This will be part two of the flushing of Lake George, New York by the Lake George Park Commission, as witnessed by the Lake George Association. You see, when you talk about drawing down a lake in the wintertime, you lower the water a couple of feet, 3 feet, whatever. And then the ice freezes in around the shoreline and boathouses and docks, like lots of marina docks, like what my parents had. You get that ice frozen in there nice and low, and then the next spring, when you can't let enough water out of the dam because the Lake George Dam number 230, or what's known as Dam A, the upper privilege, the ice comes floating back up, and it takes everything with it. In other words, if it's frozen in around your boathouse and that ice and snowpack comes floating back up, well, it tears up your boathouse. It lifts it right off its foundation. Same with all my parents' marina docks, my family's marina docks at Harris Bay. Destroyed that marina 5 years in a row. 5 years in a row. Wiped the marina out. Now, if somebody wants to call that a fantastical story, that's probably because they don't know their ass from their elbow. And they haven't spent a lifetime in construction like I have. I've built lots of stuff down at Johnson Space Center. I built all kind of houses and townhomes and apartment buildings. Lots of retail strip centers, commercial strip centers, and low-rise, mid-rise, and high-rise. I built skyscrapers for many years. Run equipment, truck and trailer, you name it, backhoes, bulldozers. I've done all kinds of construction in a professional career that spanned nearly 50 years. So, David Wick, Roger Smith, Lake George Park Commission, when you freeze that lake in nice and low, and then in the next season when the ice comes booming up back up in the springtime, that's what causes all the dock damage. And you and the state of New York and everybody that owns piers and docks and boathouses on Lake George and any other northern lake where the water comes slamming back up because you can't release enough out of Dam 230. That's what causes all the dock damage. David Wick. And this idea that you're not flushing the lake, you're flushing the lake. You can call it drawdown all you want to, but when you release a bunch of water out of the lake, that's flushing it right down the PoopChute River, known as the PoopChute River. Now, out there at the entrance of Lake Champlain, where the PoopChute River dumps into the lake, there's a 1,500 acre sludge field right smack dab in one of the most iconic pieces of American real estate that exists, Fort Ticonderoga. And just for those people that think this is a fantastical story, there's all kind of witnesses to it, all kind of scientific investigations, all kinds of mapping, all kinds of environmental conservation surveys, and the existence of this giant sludge bed. That's been discussed in great detail in the United States Supreme Court by special masters and state attorneys, and just all kind of witnesses are aware of the fact that all this sludge got to the front of Lake Champlain, in front of Ticonderoga, lays on the bottom of the lake. It got there by flushing it down the PoopChute River, the Lachute, using Lake George to flush it. David Wick. So you can call it whatever you want to, David. The reality of it is it's called flushing. and all the up and down with the ice and snowpack on Lake George, which covers about 242 square miles. Ain't that fascinating? Great, big, huge lake, ice 12, 16, 18 inches thick, being floated because they can't release enough water out of Dam A. Fantastical story? I don't think so. And the dumping, the purposeful dumping of the mill waste and the chemicals and all the sewage, the on-purpose use of the Lachute River. There's a history in the United States and Europe and China where big bankster gangsters and corporations and all kinds of people that want to get rid of their sewage and mill toxin wastes, all their industrial pollution, they just want to dump it in the river. It's been going on for centuries. And if that's a fantastical story, the courts of the United States are out of their minds. There's a more common description of their characterization of this as a fantastical story is that the courts of the United States are full of shit. That's what it's called, sewage. They're full of sewage. It's not a fantastical story. No, not at all. It's fact. And that's to the federal courts in North Carolina, and that's to the appellate courts, the Fourth Circuit in Virginia. It's absolute fact. Not fantastical story, fact. Okay, we're going to wrap up part 2, and you stay tuned for part 3. This is the Old Swamp Fox, and hasta la vista, we will be back.